Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. All right, y'all. We made it. We made it because I know we were about 30 minutes behind, and I went on live earlier, Erica, to let everybody know we were running a little behind with the technical issues. So thank you all for your patience and welcome to the Wine and Mastermind Power Talk Live. My name is Robin Woods. I am the founder of Wine and Mastermind, and I'm also an author of the book Boss Moms Move Differently. It's a book to help moms redefine motherhood, reprioritize their well being, and reinvent their lives. Y'all, I am excited about this afternoon, this evening, because I have the lovely CEO, author, Miss Erica Hart here with me today. Erica, we had a live, when was this? Maybe a couple of months ago, right? Like we were on live
Yeah.
a couple of months ago. And it was some issues then. I feel like it was some technical issues, but we were on Instagram. And so I wanted to make sure that I got Erica back because she was dropping all kind of gems. And I just felt that your message, honestly, I just felt like your message just needs to be heard by more people than just Instagram. And so I wanted to stream this. And so now we are streaming through Facebook, YouTube, and then I'm also going to be streaming this on LinkedIn as well. So just know that that's coming as well. But welcome everybody. I want you to let me know, put it in the comments, let me know where are you tuning in from. I would love to know. Let us know and definitely give us some conversation. We want to hear from you as we go through this interview over the next half hour. We want to know what resonates with you. What are some gems? What are some bars that maybe you're taking to apply back in your personal life? So let's go ahead and get this thing started. All right, Erica, I want you to share with everyone who you are and what you do.
Hi, everyone. My name is Erica Hart. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. I'm an author of three books, three self help books. The first one is titled Bruised But Not Broken 10 Ways to Heal from a Broken Heart God's Way. The second book is titled Let's Connect and Stop the Disrespect, Co parenting in the Best Interest of the Child. And my last book is titled Unforgiveness Doesn't Live Here Anymore. And I am also the owner of a cleaning business here in Memphis called Blessed by the Best Cleaning Service. I'm a wife, I'm a mama, I'm a cook, I'm a therapist, I'm everything. So
Everything, girl.
I wear many hats, but my purpose in life is to help other people. So that's what I've been doing.
Awesome. Awesome. Girl, you said a lot. Like, but to your point, it's so funny, like as mothers, how we just wear so many hats, right? Like we just and a lot of times we don't sign up for it. It just kind of happens naturally for us to be
Yes.
in this position, right? But okay, I gotta ask, because you said you're a cook. So is it that it's more of a cooking bit like something you enjoy, or is this more of cooking out of like default? Like you kind of gotta feed your family. Is it that
It
kind of
depends
thing?
on it depends on what I'm cooking. If it's something easy, then yeah. But I mean, I'm a wife, so I gotta feed my family. So, it ain't
What's
like
your
a
favorite what's your favorite meal you like to cook?
I would have to say salmon. I'm on a health kick these days. So
Okay.
salmon, rice, broccoli, anything healthy, I enjoy cooking it and putting it in my body.
Okay. So I love salmon and I love air fried salmon. That has been my thing. Like I have been on that like at least like once a week. I gotta have some air fried salmon. I don't know if you tried it, but
I haven't, girl.
it's a game changer. It is a game. If anybody, if you hear this video, if you're watching, I want you to let me know what you think about. If you tried air fryer salmon, let me know, okay? Because I know I'm
I'm
not.
gonna definitely try that. If it's easier, then
It
I'm gonna
is.
try
It
it.
is, and it just tastes so much better. So yeah, check it out. Check it out. So, Erica, I want you to just share with us. So, tell us a little bit more about yourself because at this point, you are again, you wear a lot of hats, right? You're the author of three books. You have a business, you own a business, like you are creating financial freedom, generational wealth for your family. What did that look like for you before getting to this point? What did that look like?
Life changes, obstacles. I've heard often people say you can't have a testimony without a test. Yeah, I had several tests. I had several obstacles to take me to where I am now. And back then I would have been like, oh, why did I have to go through this? Why me? Why me? But sometimes I feel like God pushed you to pain to get to your purpose. So I had to go through the pain to get to my purpose, and I don't regret anything I've ever went through at all. You know, I've been divorced, so that's what led me to write my books. And it wasn't in a sense where, oh, I'm bashing anyone, because I believe truly you cannot bash people and help people heal at the same mouth. It was more so sharing my experiences and teaching people, like, okay, you've been bruised, but you're not broken. You know, you went through this divorce or this heartbreak, but guess what? It's life after that. So I'm like, just because you go through a painful experience and, rejection set up in your body, you can move on from that, and you can have a life outside of that, and you can flourish after that. And I've done that. I'm so thankful for the place that I'm in, because only God did that for me, and me changing my perspective on the situation. You can actually go through something, and people say, "Oh, time heal our wounds," but actually, time doesn't heal our wounds. Change your perspective with time heals wounds. So what I went through pushed me to where I am now, and that's helping people heal through my books.
I love that. So it's fair to say, and what I believe I heard you say was that the pivotal moment that got you to writing books was just going through the divorce, basically.
Yes,
That's the way
yes,
I believe. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love what you said about perspectives and, just having a different perspective and time, right? Like just combining the two to allow you to go through that healing process. And I agree 100%. So what I'm curious to know, how would you define kind of looking at, and I love the book, Unforgiveness. You have that book with you? Let's see it. Let's see the book. Yes, Unforgiveness Doesn't Live Here Anymore. I love that. Because when I hear that title, or even when I think about unforgiveness, just in general, because of the fact that the work that we do here with Wine and Mastermind, we really focus on women and wellness, right? And one of
Hmm.
the dynamics that I find very common among women is that sometimes it is hard to forgive, right? And I'm not even gonna say just women, but just people in general, right? Like that can be a challenge. And sometimes people will say they forgive, but then maybe you're still harboring feelings and you still, you know, got some, you have something against somebody, right? And
Right,
point where you can't even communicate with them, or maybe the next time you see them, you're ready to knock them out, right? Like
right.
it could go either way. And I'm curious to know from your perspective, how would you define unforgiveness? Like, how do you define unforgiveness, and why do you think it's such a prevalent issue in today's society?
I think today's society teach you not to forgive. They have songs. You have all these different girls, these city girl anthems, like, teaching us to be tough women, and you don't need this person, you don't need that person. And essentially, if your heart isn't in the right place, you can't flourish in life. Joyce Meyer said forgiveness is a decision, not a feeling. I'm going to say it again. It's a decision that you make, and then you ask God to change how you feel about that person. Because when you think about it, nobody wants to forgive the person that hurt them, betrayed them, that raped them, that, turned their back on them. But it's a decision that we have to make in order to flourish, in order to be in a successful marriage and a business and all those type of things. Because a lot of things we can't get them because we haven't forgave. God knows that, oh, you want a husband or you want a wife, but guess what? You don't know how to forgive. And in a marriage, you got to learn how to forgive. You want a business, but guess what? Your coworkers may do this and may do that. Are you willing to change your perspective on forgiveness so you can get what you're asking me for? So
Ooh,
I was very intentional about forgiving. No, I did not want to forgive. God already know that. He know we don't want to forgive. He know what they've done. But he said, vengeance is mine. I'll repay. All I need you to do is be still and do what I ask you to do, and that's forgive. So,
ooh. Okay, so many things I want to kind of unpack there. Okay, um, because you talk about the music, right? Culturally, right? Music, and how there are a lot of things in society that are teaching us to not forgive in one way or another, right? And I agree to that. And I even down to the point where sometimes, and I know for me, especially when I was like heavy on, certain types of music. I'll be honest,
Yeah.
when I was heavy on certain types of music, I didn't realize how much of an influence it was like playing on me in terms of how I showed up in my relationships, right? Somebody did me wrong, right? It was just kind of like, oh no, I don't have nothing,
Mhm.
right? And I'm so thankful that I was able to kind of identify like the trends that I was seeing with how I acted and how I was, showing up like when it came to forgiving others, because that same stuff, the way I look at it is how we handle things personally, it translates to how we handle things professionally in our businesses when we're at work and all of that stuff, right? And so
Mhm.
I even look at like having a business. When you're running a business, you got to, a customer, even down to sometimes down to a customer, right? Somebody
Mhm.
does you wrong. I remember running a photography business and just being done wrong on some things, in many instances. And, you know, you forgive, but you don't forget.
Right.
Right? And it's a way to handle it. So I want to circle back to you defining what is unforgive. Like, what does that really look like? Because I think sometimes people have a hard time really determining, like, is it, have I really forgiven this person? Or am I still acting out in ways where maybe I'm really not forgiving?
Right. I always can tell if a person have forgave someone by the way that it does your demeanor change when that person walk in the room. And
Mm,
I'm gonna make a big point here. Forgiveness does not equate to you reconciling with that person. Forgiveness is what you do for yourself. A lot of people feel like, oh, I gotta forgive, and I'm gonna call them and tell them I done forgave them. You don't have to do all this, sweetheart. All you got to do is be free in your spirit and free in your mind, because you can say one thing at your mouth, but how you treat somebody is totally different. So unforgiveness in a relationship, I talk about that in my book. Are you resentful towards your spouse? You say, "Oh, yeah, I forgave you. I'm over it." But as soon as an argument ensues, guess what? That's the first thing you bring up. Are you withholding sex from your spouse? And you know that you're torturing that person, or you punishing that person because you haven't forgave a friend. Are you saying that you forgave that friend, but the moment they hang up the phone, you spread their business? So it's like unforgiveness is a hard thing. You got to check your heart posture. And if you know that your heart posture isn't in the right place, then you know you haven't forgave. And another thing, the Holy Spirit is going to always test you when you're trying to forgive. I remember it was a person from my past that I had to forgive, I'm sorry. And, the Holy Spirit was like, tell this person congratulations. And I was like, what you mean?
why?
Because God will often have you to do things that doesn't make sense to you, but it makes sense to him. He just want to see if you're gonna be obedient. So I was obedient. I said, "Hey, congratulations!" And I ain't gonna lie, I did not mean it, but it was obedience. And when I was obedient, God just gave me peace. So it's like unforgiveness. Like you will know if you haven't forgave a person by your actions. Your actions gonna always tell you. So that's what unforgiveness look like.
Yeah, yeah, and when you said it, your first example, that's what hit for me. Like, you can tell if you really forgive someone or not based on if they step in a room, right? Like,
Mhm.
how are you ready to approach them? Are you ready? Can you even speak? Can you even look at them, right? And there have been times,
Mhm.
honestly, where again, I've been there. I've been there where I've been like, oh, I can't even be in the same room, right? And I think going back to your actions, but then also more of how you feel. And
Yeah.
and I think even going back to the point of, wellness work, like putting in the wellness work, when you think about forgiveness, it really does boil down to you're doing it for yourself. You're not really doing it for other people, because a lot of times the people who ooh, got a little gnat in here, but a
Mhm.
lot of times the people who maybe you're holding something against, they moved on, right? That's likely what's happened. They moved on, they've done other things, and then we're still holding something towards them, and we're harboring these emotions and these negative feelings to where it's coming out in other ways.
And a lot of them really, and then another thing you have to be okay with not getting an apology. A lot of people are not going to apologize to you, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Because everything, all of this wellness talk, all of this boils down to you. and how you feel. And a lot of people want to do things for an applause, like, oh yeah, I forgave them, I called them. When you do stuff and it's from the heart, you don't even gotta speak on it because it's between you and God. Like God knows that you truly forgave that person and he'll reward you. A lot of people, and another thing, a lot of people don't want to forgive because they feel like if I forgive that person, they're gonna feel like what they did to me is okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not the case.
Far from the truth. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. That's far from the truth. I want to talk a little bit about forgiving self. And the reason why, because again, this was something that I dealt with for a very, very long time. And I didn't even realize it. Like it took me having to go through therapy to realize that there were some dynamics. And I'm saying this from an experience because I lost some really close loved ones, right? And so me going through losing them, a lot of times when you go through the grieving process, what I learned was that um, there's this guilt. Guilt is a part of the process, right? Like you feel guilty. You feel like maybe there's something you could have done, something you could have done differently or better to have avoided the situation. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about forgiving ourselves. What can someone, or how can someone overcome like self blame to build a new life or to move forward? What are some ways that maybe you could recommend?
Change your perspective. You have to, everything starts and ends with your perspective. You have to change your perspective on the situation. A lot of women feel bad for the partner they chose. A lot of women feel bad for staying in an abusive, emotionally abusive relationship, knowing they should have left a long time ago. And that creates a tormenting spirit. And that's a trick of the enemy. He wants you to feel bad about yourself. He wants you to feel like that you can't do anything right. Look at this situation you in, and you have to rebuke those thoughts. So when it comes to you and you like, oh my God, I can't believe I allowed this for so long, it's forward moving only. So when someone is battling with forgiving themselves, you deserve to be forgiven, even from yourself. So I think that it's a mental thing when those negative thoughts, because just think about it. What would be the reason why it would be so hard for you to forgive yourself? Because the thoughts that run through your mind. So when you start controlling your thoughts and changing your perspective, it'll be much easier. Soon as those negative thoughts come to your mind, I'm gonna tell you, for me, when negativity come to my mind, I crank up that gospel music or I turn on a sermon and let it be in my ear. Because if I'm listening to something positive, the negative gotta go. So you have to be intentional about these type of things. You can't just think, oh, I forgive myself and it's just gonna be a walk in the park. You have to work hard at it. And that's just like even when you're trying to forgive someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? um, that's good because, and I think that goes back to the original point that you made about like, what are you listening to? And I kind of think about like not only the music, right, but the people who you're around. Like, what are they feeding you? Kind of like what are they talking about? Because if they're feeding into, that guilt, and I'm saying this because sometimes for some of us, we may have like loved ones who mean well, right, but they make you feel bad about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so you may not be able to cut them off completely, but sometimes it may mean just, managing, watching your time, watching how much time you're spending with them, because sometimes it's not productive. They're not really feeding into the things that you need to hear in that particular moment. So I agree with you. A lot of times it's like, what are you listening to? Who you around? What are you taking in?
And
That
I think a lot of times too, a lot of women, your strength intimidates people. So that in a sense, they are projecting their insecurities onto you. And that's when you have to kind of draw that fine line, even with family. Like, oh, okay then, well, girl, I'm over it now. I'm telling you, anything that you don't feed is gonna eventually die. So if you're engaging in a negativity talk with them, guess what? They're gonna engage back. And next thing you know, you get off the phone, you're gonna feel drained. So
everything.
that's why it's important as women, we surround ourselves with women that are like-minded and that's gonna push us to our purpose, not to pity.
Yeah. Purpose, not to pity. I love it, girl. You better speak.
I'm just trying to help the people, friend.
That's right, girl. No, I love it. I love it. So um what advice would you give to someone who feels stuck in a cycle of unforgiveness and is struggling to move forward? And I'm saying this because sometimes it's not as easy to just say, okay, well, I'm just gonna turn on music or, put myself in the right environment. Some people, sometimes it is possible to just be like stuck, right? Like for whatever reason, you just can't shake it, because some bad things happen to people. And
Yeah.
I know people, I have these conversations all the time. And even kind of talking about it from a standpoint of like business, right? Like you think about some people, they're in business partnerships together. You've been done wrong on a business deal, right? Like again, all of this translates. It's all you're speaking the same language, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's work. It all kind of works the same. And so if you have somebody who, for whatever reason, maybe they have that coworker which they cannot stand. The coworker has tried to sabotage them, right? They can't get past the fact that maybe the boss has denied them of a promotion, and they know that their livelihood is at stake, or maybe some people have been laid off, right? Like, and it's hard to shake because you're in really tough times, and that maybe it was the other person's fault, right? In terms of why you're in the situation that you're in. How do you recommend that they get out of that situation? What's
So
the big
I have a couple of ways that I'm gonna break it down. A lot of people don't really realize where unforgiveness starts from. Unforgiveness starts from an offense that has taken place, whether something was said to you, whether something was done to you. And instead of shaking that offense off when it happened, you allow it to resonate in your spirit. So if you're in a relationship or a marriage and that person, your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever is listening, and they have done something to you, right? If they're apologetic and you see that their actions are aligning with their words, then you need to ask God to help you to let it go. I talked to a lady a couple of years ago, and she had went through some stuff in her marriage, and I said, so how did you get over it? Like, what did you do? She said, every day. I said, God, help me to let it go. I said, that's it. She was like, that's it. But you have to, people don't realize you have to be intentional about forgiveness, because one day you'll be like, I'm good. I feel so good. I feel so great. As soon as the enemy see that you good, he gonna throw something in your way, or he'll have that person to say something to offend you. A lot of unforgiveness, it started with a little bitty offense. You know what I'm saying? And it'll turn into something very big. So far as a spouse, if that person is trying and if that person has apologized and their actions is aligning with their words, then that's something y'all have to and be able to communicate. Listen, I'm really trying to forgive you. I know you apologize, but I'm struggling with this. Just help me. You know what I'm saying? Be honest and communicate. Ain't no use of lying like I done forget you, baby. And then as soon as they do one little thing like leave some sugar on the counter or forget to take the trash out. That's why I can't stand you now. It's like you ain't forgave, baby, because that
right?
little thing should not have set you off like that. So, like I
That's
said, and then it's a thing where you just check your heart. Because even me, even writing self-help books, I have to check my heart and say, Lord, if it's something in my heart that's not right, just show it to me so I can release it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, like, you've written books and I've written books and other people are, inspiring and helping other people. But guess what? The people that inspire and help other people, we get attacked the most because God know we got a word to give to people. So when I tell you I speak to you like I'm just a regular girl. I'm just trying to help people. But far as the job situation and the friend situation and people you don't have to deal with on a regular basis that has done something to you, you have got to be the bigger person. And people and that sounds so cliche, like be the bigger person. It's like if that person ain't got to sleep with you every night, if that person ain't got to pay bills with you, why do you allow them to control your temperature from another room? They on the other side of the warehouse, they on the other side of the office. Why are you allowing them to get you out of your comfort zone? It doesn't make sense. And every time, just think about this, y'all. Every time that you don't forgive somebody, you're allowing them to dangle you. You ever seen those little
yes,
dolls you dangle? So
that's
soon as
right.
you can't allow
It's
anyone to have,
control.
yeah, control of you like that. It's time to take the emotions back. I promise you. And I'm so thankful that God gave me this mindset. I don't allow people to control me no more. If you got a personal issue with me, I'm sorry. I don't know. And I'll be quick to apologize if I do something to somebody. But you can't walk around with that unforgiveness in your heart. A lot of people are in the hospital and they think they're in the hospital because they're having health issues. It starts with your mind and you're not forgiving. And guess what? Because you haven't forgiven, you're on blood pressure medicine. You don't take your blood pressure medicine because you think you're cool. Now your kidneys failing. Now you're in the hospital
Hmm.
because of somebody else. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. I'm
Girl.
telling y'all, God got so much in store for y'all. God got so much for y'all to do, but He cannot work through you if your heart is not in the right place. It's been times where I had to check my heart posture, but I'm telling y'all, it's so rewarding to just forgive, and you don't have to be friends with that person. You
Right.
forgive for you. It don't have nothing to do with them.
And one other thing that you mentioned about, sometimes if you've done something wrong to somebody else, you'll go and apologize, right? Like you can go and apologize. I believe that sometimes when it comes to like in what I've experienced with me being able to give grace to other people and forgive, I think because of the fact that I can own it. Like when I'm going to apologize to somebody, I want that same grace. You know what I'm saying? Like I want that grace. And so when I look at somebody who's come to me and they apologize, I want to give them grace because I know I make mistakes too. When it comes to
Right.
my husband, right? Like if he comes to me, if he apologizes about something or, a friend, it may sting, right? So they may do something that may sting, something that may, like you say, it may offend you or whatever the case is. But I give grace because I know that I want that same grace when I mess up. You know what I'm saying? Like when I
Absolutely.
mess up, I need you to be like, Robin, you're good, you're human, right? And I think that's really what it boils down to, just accepting people for being human, right?
It's
We're
funny
all
that
human and we make mistakes. You
right.
know?
It's funny that you said that because I was listening to a TDJ sermon and he said people that have the hardest time forgiving forget how many times they've been forgiven by God.
Exactly.
Like what if all the times that because we mess up every day.
Every day.
Like whether it's a small sin or a big, what if we say, "Oh Lord, forgive me of my sins," and He treat us the way we treat other people?
Right.
We'll be messed up. So I think it's just really just changing your perspective on the offense. A lot of people have went through a lot of traumatic situations that's going to take them a lot of help and prayer and therapy. It's not going to be easy as saying, Lord, help me to let it go, or talking to somebody about it. But you got to do the work. I was desperate to forgive because it was like that offense was changing me to somebody that I didn't like. So I'm like, okay, I know I'm a cool girl. Like, no, I can't allow somebody else to change me into this mean girl. Like, I don't want to be that person. So let me find help. I'm looking up sermons about forgiveness. I'm looking anything I can do. I'm Googling forgiveness, and that would lead me to write my book about forgiveness. Like, I'm trying to help people get free.
I love that. So that's where it comes back to being intentional. Being intentional. So we're kind of coming up close to time, but I want to make sure that we get this part in. How, in your opinion, how can forgiveness contribute to overall personal growth and well being? How can it contribute to that?
Girl, how can it not?
How has it for you? Let me just ask that. How has it for you?
God, because I've forgiven, like I can't even, first of all, it's like even not even material things. It's just like peace. You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? A lot of people think, oh, if I forgive, I'm gonna get this Range Rover I want, I'm gonna get this husband or this wife. And God, like, I just want to give you a peace of mind. So for one, I got a peace of mind. For two, I have a growing business because I had to learn because I have a cleaning business. So I may have a customer that may not be pleased. I may have a customer that may say things to me that I'd be like, God, what's that for? But guess what? Because I have mastered the art of forgiveness, I know how to bounce back from that. You have to, you can't fight fire with fire. When people throw fire at you, instead of throwing it back, you gotta throw it off you. So it has helped me in so many ways, just the way I talk to people, the way I deal with people. A lot of people may say, oh, you just, passive baby. Now I'm grown. You know what I'm saying? It's a difference. You don't have to address every little thing somebody say to you and do to you. You know what I'm saying? You will be addressing people all day. So it
it's
just have
freedom.
blessed me.
It's freedom. To me, I feel like it's freedom. Like it's freedom to have that peace of not holding on to everything. Because I think the fact that you're trying to build an empire, right? Like
Yes.
you're building it, you don't have time to hold on to things like that. Like you literally, and I'm learning that now, like every second counts for me. Every moment counts. And so what I find is that if I'm holding on to something too long, it's not allowing me to be productive because some in some capacity it's causing me to, maybe I'm not able to sleep. Maybe I'm not able to be as creative as I want. I'm not able to serve the people that I need to serve because of the fact that I'm holding on to other things. And so that's the way I think, to your point, looking at how my business, seeing it grow, it's been a result of, that's one aspect of my whole well-being and my healing journey has been just being able to forgive, like consistently being able to just forgive.
It's important. And I know we wrapping it up, but I'm just urging y'all. If it's somebody in y'all life that y'all holding on something to, I'm telling you, I'm begging you, please do the self work. Do the work to let it go. Do the work to move forward. I'm not saying be in that person's space because there's a lot of toxic people that is in, they have been around you, they have hurt you. So you can love people from a distance, but do the work to let it go. Cause life's short, y'all. Y'all see, every time we turn on the news or log on to social media, somebody have left here. You don't want to leave here with that type of, thing on your heart. So y'all forgive so you can live and get blessed and not be stressed.
I love it. I love it. So, and I was going to ask you what is that takeaway that you wanted to share with the viewers, but it sounds like you pretty much covered it. Unless there's anything else that you want to share.
Now I think we were, and my prayer is now I don't want to be popular. I want to be impactful. That's my thing. I want to be impactful to somebody. I want when somebody log off, I just pray that somebody say, you know what she said made sense. And if it's just one person, then guess what? We did our job.
That's right.
We did our job.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Erica, it's always good like chatting with you. Where can everybody find you? If they want to reach out to you, if they want to stay connected, where can they find you?
On Facebook, I'm Erica Hart. Yeah, my name is up there. And
Yep.
then on Instagram, my name is up there. E-class. Um, okay. Baby, it's up there. I didn't change pages about 3 4 times. And you can my books are available at www.ericaLHart.com.
Awesome.
So
Awesome. Erica, thank you so much for just being a part of this conversation this afternoon. We'll definitely stay in touch. And y'all go check out Erica. Grab her book, grab a copy of her book. You can go to ericalhart.com, right?
yeah.
ericalhart.com to grab a copy of she has 3 books. So definitely support her. And Erica, let's just catch up soon, okay? Thank
All
you,
right.
everybody. And definitely put in the chat, put in the comments, let us know what's resonated with you, what has resonated with you during this discussion. And we will catch you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.